Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between NightEnD versus Empire Kaz here on Tal'Darim Altar LE. I'm not 100% sure of all the differences between all the Tal'Darim altars. I know that some of them have a limited third expansion here. This is a full expansion with 8 mineral patches and also a Vespene Geyser. So I'm not quite sure what the difference is. This is not the standard version of the map. From Blizzard. Let's see, is there brush by the... No, there's no brush by the Xel'Naga Watchtowers either. So I know there is a difference, but I'm not 100% sure what it is. Now we have Empire Kaz spawning as the yellow Terran player over here on the bottom right hand side of the map at the 5 o'clock position. Meanwhile, NightEnD spawning as the blue Protoss here on the top left hand side of the map. And yeah, at the 10 o'clock position. So this is going to be a cross spawn here on Tal'Darim Altar, and that should make for a very long game. Longer games meaning more macro. There is a rather large walking distance between these two bases. Now, I do feel that Tal'Darim Altar does significantly play into Protoss style of play over Terran, very much because of the fact that there is no ramp leading into your first base here. You do have a very wide open choke point, so Zealots and Stalkers are able to get a lot of damage or are able to see through and also be able to funnel through that gap very easily and very early on in the matchup. Your ramp, however, is over here, and that choke point is even wider, so a very wide ramp choke point here makes it even more difficult. As units can easily walk up that ramp. It does take, I believe, 2 to 3 force fields to completely block that off, though, so it is very difficult for a sentry to block any reinforcements just because of the amount of force fields and the amount of energy it does take. Now, Kaz, based upon this matchup, I'm not sure if he will try to go for infantry or go for mech. Mech here on Tal'Darim Altar does make a little bit more sense to me, just because you have factory units, you have the superior range with siege tanks on a wide open field, and you have those very fast moving Hellions. Hellions are very, very important, as well as Empire Kaz looking to go for a Reaper expansion. You can see Reaper taking a little bit of time to build over there, 45 seconds in order to build, and now in comes this probe. So NightEnd's probe getting a little bit of information, and will he set up a proxy pylon in this base? It doesn't look like it. As an SCV now, I'm looking to come back over here, and oh, in comes that command center. So the probe now going to get some damage onto that SCV. No, deciding not to. So the probe just waiting over there now, and now going to perhaps just decide to activate a Xel'Naga Watchtower. That Reaper is done, and now right after that Reaper, I expect a Marauder bee to be trained, as the Reaper is able to easily counter any Zealots, and then a Marauder should be used in order to try to counter Stalkers. There is a Zealot now out, and now we see a second barracks finally being placed down here in order to make this wall off choke point a little bit easier to defend. Instead of being aggressive, NightEnD opting to play an economic game as well, setting up a nexus at the natural expansion. He will have a little bit more probes early on just because of that chrono boost help, and he should be able to saturate his natural expansion pretty easily. A bunker now being placed down as well, so it's looking like Kaz is opening up into infantry style of play. There's that Marauder that I was talking about to round it off, and more Marauders are still going to be trained. And the Reaper needs to scout at this point, and I'm very glad to see the Reaper finally moving out. The reason why the Reaper needs to scout is he needs to know if there is going to be any Void Ray play, or if it's going to be gateway units. If it is Void Rays, he has to be very careful. Oh, the Reaper now needs to back off. It looks like it is going to be able to get off 2 shots, and now able to finally escape there, surviving with 5 hit points. So he was able to get 2 kills, trading his cost for 50 minerals, 50 gas for 100 minerals. So nice play there, evening up the economy. Now, the reason why you want to scout out is you want to see, one, what the buildings your opponent is building, to let you know whether you can continue to train more Marauders, or if you need to start researching Stim and get a lot more Marines. If he had saw perhaps not that very much, only a gateway and no additional tech building with that Cybernetic core, he may have gone for a little bit more Marine heavy build, allowing him to protect against any Void Rays early on. Void Rays, if you are not ready for them, can easily win the game early on. You can see a bunker here, double Marauders, another bunker coming into play as well. and making sure to put a little bit of position in between these two walkways so that the Marines and Marauders can also focus fire and get a lot of support as well. Back here, the Reaper, very low on hit points, playing a very dangerous game right there, deciding to just sit there and activate this Xel'Naga Watchtower. It is revealing a large portion of the map, and it would reveal any units trying to walk across the center of the map for just a moment. You can see Kaz only running off of, I believe, 2 refineries at this stage, hasn't built the other 2 refineries yet, so he's still going to be very heavy on infantry as we are now going into the robotics bay. A nice transition by NightEnD. NightEnD getting that robotics bay. I'm expecting to see a forge as well. Upgraded Colossi, very, very powerful against Terran infantry, as the observer now is just still wandering around. Kaz looking to run off of 2 base play. And whenever a Protoss player sees this particular build, he needs to feel pretty happy because the Terran player is actually turtling a little bit too early. I don't like to see this style of play from Kaz. Kaz running off of 2 bases, and this is just inviting, just inviting NightEnD to clear out these rocks and establish a 3rd base, because Kaz is just playing such a defensive game. We are going into a starport with a reactor as well. That is going to be double training Medivacs and Vikings in just a moment, adding proper support to the rest of this, and also getting that missile turret here. So just looking to get a very, very strong economy as fast as it can get going off of 2 bases. Meanwhile, back here, NightEnD sitting on a lot of probes, 44 probes so far, and at this stage, he could opt to try to clear out these rocks and start. As long as he continues to train more probes, he would have a decent number of probes for saturation at that other base. You can see that he already probably has like 16, 18 probes already at each base, with training an additional perhaps 5 to 7 probes with Chrono Boost at each nexus. That is more than enough to start a beginning saturation at the 3rd base over here. We are getting Empire Kaz to make sure that he is not turtling too much, moving out and continuing to scout, while we are also getting the command center by Kaz here. So I'm surprised by this. It looks like Kaz was trying to turtle, but no, by salvaging these bunkers after the 4-gate timing, he was able to get enough minerals to get this command center up and running, and he should be able to have a very strong economic lead. You can see level 1 infantry upgrades, armory now up or coming online as well, so we should be getting the armor upgrades soon for those infantry units as well. You can see the factory still making a very, very slow move out across the map. A Medivac now looking to come in, and there are 4 Marauders in that group as well. It looks as though the probe is going to spot this out, and that's going to be really, really bad timing there. The Marauder needs to pick up the rest of the units. Oh no, the Medivac down to 29 hit points, down to 3 hit points, and it looks like it will be able to escape just barely. So coming back over here, Stalker should be warping in as soon as they can. 1 Stalker over in that location will be able to prevent any drops, as that Medivac already down to 3 hit points, dangerously low. A Medivac holding 3 Marauders, dangerously low on hit points there, as the Marauders and Marines in full retreat now trying to return home. SCVs now expanding here, upgrading to another orbital command. A decent number of SCVs now being transferred, as well as a nexus being established here. So NightEnD a little bit behind in the economic game, and also in the armor and weapons upgrade. NightEnD is getting the Twilight Council and Colossus, so as long as he has Stalkers with Blink, as long as he has some Psystorm, he should be, it will just come down to a matter of who's able to use their spellcasters and their splash damage more effectively. The Colossus with a decent movement speed and a range of 9, or the Siege Tanks with a range of 13 and essentially no movement speed while in a range of 13. I am curious to see, we are getting the the vehicle weapons upgrade at this time. I would assume that this is a mistake. I don't see a tech lab down, and I don't even see a factory back inside the base so far. So Kaz perhaps would have liked to have gotten the weapons upgrade for those Vikings, not the weapons upgrade for his ground army. Yeah, and that, I believe that's got to be a mistake. We are getting the Zealot Charge and the Templar Archives as well. So Psystorm now will be coming online in just a moment. Ground upgrades and for armor and weapons as well. Just a very, very nice set of upgrades for Colossus, Sentries, Zealots, and Stalkers. Really, really balanced, allowing the Protoss player to concentrate on a very small combination of units while getting a lot of mileage out of them. We are now seeing those High Templar being warped in at the start of that Psionic Storm research, which is very important, as it allows those Templars to gain and get a lot of energy early on. The medevac still hiding over here, if you were wondering. So those Templars will be able to slowly accumulate that energy. I'm not quite sure where those High Templar are. I know they're out there somewhere. There they are. So High Templar is now hiding off over here, making sure that there are no ghosts nearby. And now we are finally going into the ship upgrade. So level 1 ship upgrades underway, as we are now getting a large mass of units on the move. Kaz now getting the level 1 weapons upgrade finally on those Vikings, so that will help. There are 2 medevacs, but that is a lot of Marines and Marauders to try to support, as a probe is now shut down. So at this stage, NightEnD has to be very, very careful. Is it going to be a front door push or a back door push? That is going to be the critical question, as the units now are on the move. There are Vikings here, and the Vikings have to be careful as well, as the Psystorm now going to come in from NightEnD. And I believe there is one Ghost in that group, and that Ghost, getting double sniped, but one Psystorm does hit the rest of that hit the rest of that group there, and there is now one Observer that was quickly shot down there, as the Vikings are just in the air, able to hide on that high ground. Zealots and Stalkers now trying to come in as well. There is a large group of units here. The Ghost does have enough for an EMP shockwave still. So those High Templars have to be careful. There is a lot of energy on those High Templar, but the EMP shockwave will deplete 100 energy, making them rather useless until they get into the 175 energy range. And then those Templars are just going to be able to get so much Psystorm down, it's going to be raining Psy. Vikings and Marauders once again on the move, perhaps going to try to do a pressure or a push over here, or perhaps do an elevator drop into this location. That would be a very gutsy move, especially since there are only 2 medevacs, and it looks like that is going to be the case. It is going to be a pure elevator drop onto that high ground, and now perhaps shutting down all of these buildings over here. So the Marauders are now in play, simply stimming in, going after those pylons one at a time. One more pylon is left, and now feedbacking onto that medevac. The half of those units will get taken down, as the rest of the army is now moving out over here. We are getting an expansion location here, no Nexus in play, as Kaz has a factory to block it. The Vikings now going to make their way over and easily shut that down, as Kaz already has the expansion at the 3 o'clock location. Marauders and Marines just hanging around over here, perhaps going to wait up once again, as all 3 pylons were shut down. NightEnD now supply locked and needs to repower the rest of these buildings, as he wants the level 3 upgrades as quickly as possible. A very, very powerful Protoss ball of units. That is probably somewhere within the realm of about 100 food there, as SCVs were just brought to their slaughter. So Kaz deciding to just perhaps use mules alone, as the Stalkers now quickly coming in. In comes a Psystorm under a group of Vikings, that a lot of damage is being dealt across the board. Colossus are getting taken down, but so much Psystorm raining down across multiple groups there. The Vikings are going to get finished, as perhaps these High Templars need to get another Psystorm across the rest of that group there. Perhaps even feedbacking on those medevacs would have been a nice play, as the Zealots are now, wow, that Zealot charging after nothing, it looked like. But really, really a favorable fight for NightEnD in that battle. 3,300 versus 1,100 there, and now the Colossus, only 1 Colossus left. We are getting more High Templar, another Colossus being added to the rest of the army. The Zealots with that faster movement speed because of that legs upgrade, and now going to make their way over perhaps into that 3rd expansion, but I think, or that 4th expansion, but I think Empire Kaz doesn't stand a chance. NightEnD really took the lead on that battle, and now with level 3 weapons upgrade just about ready. That is going to be it. I think level 3 upgrades, those High Templars making sure to stay away from the rest of that battle. There are going to be units coming in over here. The Medivacs, oh, the Ghost, quickly spot this out, and then the Ghost getting some snipes onto those High Templars, and EMP Shockwave as well, and now Archons are being merged. Scanner sweep, but no, those Ghosts are not revealed at all, but they are very, very low on energy, and I believe that was another combined sniping effort, as those Archons are only psionic. So I didn't realize that Archons were not considered biological units. So does that mean that if they take damage, Medivacs can't heal them? Anyway, I guess there's only 10 hit points to heal. Anyways, Archons now are just hiding off over here. The Archons probably wish they had shield research in addition to that armor research, as well as the Empire Kaz now running off of a very small economy, only 52 SCVs at this stage. His income is now significantly slower after he slaughtered a lot of his own units in order to free up some supply, but he does have a decent sized army with more units still in production, so that will significantly help out. Observers now very, very smartly being added to the rest of the army. These observers do have the movement speed upgrade, so they are able to see more, and now the Stalker is blinking offensively. Offensive Stalkers just shooting down the rest of those Ghosts there, and now a lot of damage is going to be dealt. We do see Marines and Marauders trying to split up the rest of that group. Psystorm Shield D coming in, there you go. So much damage being dealt across the board. Psystorm on top of Psystorm. Archons now being merged, and I believe Kaz will have to say GG. So much damage being dealt there, and that was just beautifully done by NightEnD. A combination of upgraded Colossus and, upgraded Colossus with a Psystorm just made very, very short work there. Colossus now going to finish off the rest of that. It looks like that last Observer was tried to be saved, but still destroyed as the orbital command, and these buildings are going to get shut down production-wise. More units are coming out. Marines and Marauders once again trying to engage, and this is going to be a last stand effort. SCV should probably be trying to tank some of that damage as well. One Viking trying to hold back the rest of those Colossus, but the Stalkers are going to be able to finish that off, and this GG has to be coming soon. I cannot imagine what NightEnD could do to lose this game. You do see that there is a Marauder and Marine expansion drop over here and destroying this location. The Stalkers perhaps were trying to shoot them down here. So Kaz is in an okay situation, making sure that his economy is now actually ahead of his opponent by using mules, perhaps? Yeah, perhaps using mules and trying to mine off of this location as well. There is only mining coming in off of this base, and barely any off of, no, that is it, just a bare minimal off of this base as well. So both sides in a little bit of trouble. NightEnD having the stronger army significantly in gas, but that is it. He does not have the stronger economy. As the orbital command now in the air, trying to run away. Stalkers are going to be able to finish off all of those SCVs. Down goes another orbital command. And now Kaz most likely will be losing this expansion as well. Zealots also just trying to do a little bit of charging here as a command center over here lifted off. No, not lifted off from the main base. There are just multiple command centers all over the place using mules in order to try to get back into this game. So Kaz doing a last-ditch effort using a lot of mules, 8 mules, which mine out very, very quickly, a lot of mineral patches, and we'll see if that's going to work as another drop now coming in. So Kaz now coming in, looking to shut down this this photon cannon over here and perhaps get some more damage across the board. Psystorm now coming in as well. Are we going to get some feedback? Those High Templar need to do something. They're just going to simply die. There you go, Psystorm there, feedback there, killing off the rest of those units, perhaps merging into an Archon in just a moment. Here's this Protoss ball moving out. Another orbital command now lifted off and trying to be reestablished. It needs to re-land as 3 more mules now being called down over here as well. A lot of mules just trying to mine, trying to stay in this game economically. Taking a look at the losses, you can see Kaz has lost a lot more resources, but is still only slightly behind in terms of his army. And in comes those Marauders now. Psystorm quickly coming in, softening up that army, for allowing the rest of the Colossus to finish off. And now because of that blink, the Marauders would not be able to stutter step, not be able to get that much distance between those units. And Kaz says GG. Wow. I tried to call the game a couple times and I had not realized how strong of an economy Kaz had. Kaz probably had anywhere between I think around 7 to 9 orbital commands calling down mules able to mine a lot. You can see the amount of resources lost. 31,000 versus 2,300. What is the total spending? Yeah, total spending, much more by Kaz on his army. 2,000 more, just not as much in technology, and I think that's ultimately what hurt him. The Stalkers were upgraded 3-3-1. Medevacs had no upgrades. The Vikings had a decent amount of upgrades as well. No use of nukes, but we did have that cloaking research. Very good use of EMP Shockwave, and Kaz trying to run off of mass barracks. 12 racks with only 1 starport. That is definitely a problem. You need at least 2 starports if you're going to go this heavy into Marine Marauder, 2 to train Vikings, or 1 to train Vikings, 1 to train Medevacs. But still, really, really solid play by Kaz, turning this into a very large macro battle. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Empire Kaz and NightEnD here on Tal'Darim Altar.